Let's fight. The folks said they are ready. Let's fight. How are you guys doing wherever you are joining us from this evening? Wherever in the world you guys are joining us from, how are you tonight? Trust that you guys have had a great weekend. Trust that you guys have had a good start to this week and this pace and power, and you guys are not letting up. Good to see so many of you already joining us from around the world. Welcome to the ring, folks. Welcome in the ring. Welcome in the Coliseum. Welcome in the arena. Welcome in the stadium. Good to see so many of you joining us, and we trust that you guys have had a fantastic weekend. We had a good weekend, folks, and what a start this year has been for me. Folks, arrested. Now I'm sent to the Committee of Privilege in the National Assembly, of Privileges in the National Assembly. Who could ask for more? Pace and power for 2022. Lots of information to share with you guys. Lots of information to share with you. Rami Leander and Cheryl Gillis, Ebon Lamy, Clive Jackson, Jennifer Smith, Onika Glenn, Deshaun Alexander, all of you beautiful, fantastic folks. Good to see y'all. How y'all doing out there? Good to see each and every one of you. Would not have it any other way. Really great to have Therese here, and Florette, Mavis, Joan, Oswina, Nicole, Odessa, Annabelle, Myrna, Marlin. Good to see you, Ariel, Ashby, Margaret Jones, Daniel, Passad, Dolores, Denny. I see also Denise, London Welshman, Joseph, Colin Wilson, Don Raymond, Irvin, Don Cook. Good to see so many of you wherever you guys are picking us up from around the world. Let's fight. Big week ahead of us. We had parliamentary sitting today. Gonna update you guys on some of the happenings there. And y'all got the budget of burdens coming up on Wednesday. It's going to be read by Ashni Singh, the accountant. Who could ask for more? Lots of stuff happening this week, and we're going to be right here giving you guys the latest. Paul Bourne, rather. You're in the right place. Folks, I don't know about you, but I'm so happy to head into the fight card tonight. So much to share with you folks. Roxanne Estrada, you're in the right place. Eileen, you're in the right place. Chisung Henry, you're in the right place. Zoanne Stewart, Ingrid Crawford, Nikki Ennis, you're in the right place. Denise Samuel, Wendy Ogle, good to see you. You're in the right place. Paul Williams, Amanda Daniels, good to see you. Tonya Cummins, Michelle McKay, you guys are in the right place this evening. We're fired up here, ready to go. Pace and power in 2022, guys. Is the 24th day of January already. Can you imagine? Was New Year's just last week? Was a New Year's Day just yesterday? Where's the time going? Pace and power, guys. We can't hold back, you know. You got to accomplish those goals this year. You got to accomplish those dreams this year. You got to move from potential into performance this year. Pace and power from potential into performance in 2022. Don't let anybody hold you back. Don't let the Jacobats hold you back. Don't let the trench crappos hold you back. Pace and power from performance, or rather from potential. You got to move to performance. You got to come off the mark. Too many of us on the mark. Pinky Vaughn, Joylyn Cook, too many of us on the mark. You know, you say mark. On your mark. Get set. Ready? Too many of us on the mark too long. Pace and power in 2022. And we're going to do it together, guys. We are not only going to have challenges, we are going to surmount those challenges. We're not only going to live in 2022, we're going to thrive, people. And that's why over the weekend we said to you, find some me time. Self-care is important. And we see one young woman taking self-care to a different level. You know, more power to y'all. More power to you guys. I don't know about you, but I am ready to get into the fight card, folks. But first, coming up. A lot of guests tonight. So it's pace and power as we're moving through the fight card. We should have joining us this evening. We should have joining us the one and only, the chief whip of the parliamentary opposition. The chief whip of the parliamentary opposition, Christopher Jones, should be coming by this evening. Amanza Walton-Desir should be joining us as well. Folks, you know you ought to share the live stream by now, and we want to see those emojis as well. What are you folks doing out there? And then the man himself, the master blaster, Jaipaul Sharma, is going to be joining us too. You better share this live stream. Jaipaul is going to be here. Amanza Walton-Desir is going to be here. Christopher Jones is going to be here as well. Packed program tonight. Happy Monday. Pace and power. Good to see each and every one of you. Good to see you guys. So coming up, guys, you ought to share the live program just for that. Welcome into the ring. Welcome into the Coliseum. Wherever you guys are joining us from this evening. Brenda Braffett. And I want to say shout out to folks like Brenda who help us to keep moving from strength to strength, who don't just talk the talk, who has come off the mark, folks, and is moving from potential rather, to performance. Thank you, Brenda. Good to see you. O'Donna Sint, something. Pace and power. Winston Kilkenny. Rhonda, good to see you. Debbie, Kim, Rami, Jacobs. Pace and power. Good to have you guys with us this evening. Coming up, Christopher Jones. Coming up, Amanza Walton-Desir. Coming up, Jaipaul Sharma. And that's some of the things on the fight card. Guys, are you ready? I am ready. Welcome into the ring. Wherever you're joining us from around the world, is our privilege to have each and every one of you here with us tonight. There is no better bunch of people we'd rather be spending this time with than you fantastic, beautiful folks. Share the live stream as you come on, and we want to see those emojis as well. Right off the bat on the fight card, folks, here we go. We just there. Drinking we water, minding we own business. Breaking news. We want to start with this evening. Breaking news. The news doesn't get any more breaking than this, folks. Like how a glass can be broken. That's how this news is breaking tonight, folks. Breaking news. We there. Drinking we water, minding we own business. Pace and power. Pace and power, folks. That's how we be beginning the evening. Breaking news, folks. Take it as you get it. Yep. Irfan today met for the very first time with a delegation all by himself. That's the breaking news, folks. Just today, all by himself, Irfan met with this delegation all by himself. There was no Papa Jagabat to be seen anywhere in sight. And that is the big question tonight. Where in the world is Papa Jagabat? Breaking news. For the very first time since he was installed as, I almost said vice president, since he was installed as president, that too, he has met with an international delegation all by himself. People say Papa Jagabat got to be sick, maybe drinking some more thinners, they don't know. But breaking news today, folks, Irfan Ali, for the very first time in his installed presidency, met with a delegation alone. Basically alone. And when we say alone, we meant without Papa Jagabat there for the very first time. But let us tell you a little bit about this delegation. We hope some of you did not just come to spectate. You're going to be active this evening. You're going to share the live stream. You're going to show us those emojis because we want to know how you're all feeling out there. So according to what we have here, Irfan Ali met today with the United States Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, and an executive team from the Batel. And this is an American engineering, procuring, and construction and project management company, Batel. This afternoon, they met at the office of the president. The visiting team, we understand, included the company's president of Regions and Cooperative Affairs, Stuart Jones, no relation to Christopher Jones. Also, there was the head of the corporate business development, Paul Gibbs, and the U.S. Embassy Political and Economic Section Chief, Brian Hall. Folks, for the very first time, Jack Leo was missing. That's what we're being told. For the very first time. And we're being told, in addition to that, this Batel group has completed some 25,000 projects in 160 countries. Folks, you all notice how the people just come from the U.S., but I pick up the accent. You all see how we stay here? Again, breaking news. Irfan Ali, for the very first time, in his entire installed presidency, has met with an international delegation by himself, and Barajagni was nowhere in sight. Breaking news, folks. That being said, moving on, breaking news. Moving on, we could not put aside, even though this other story here is a large story. This one we felt was really breaking news, and we had to bring you this hot off the press as we got it. But let us widen our scope now to the region. You know, we start with the region, then we come into what's happening locally in Guyana. That being said, folks, some news from around the region that is equally as great. Folks, it's a good weekend. It was a good weekend. It's a good week. It's a good year for women everywhere. Take this next story here. Big congratulations. We say respect and manners to this young woman. Coming up next, respect and manners, and big congratulations are going out to Antoinette. I think it's Weems is pronounced as Gorman, the first female chief of defense of the Jamaica Defense Force. She's in charge of the whole defense force. Let's put it that way. The woman is in charge of the whole defense force. The whole defense force. Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman, the first female chief of defense staff of the Jamaica Defense Force. The woman gone big. Folks, the woman gone big. This is a fantastic day for women everywhere. We are told that it's the second woman in the whole world to have hold such a high post in the military. The second woman in the whole world, and she's the very first, not only for the Caribbean, but the entire Commonwealth. Women are breaking the glass ceiling everywhere, and we salute her tonight, and we say respect and manners, Rear Admiral, respect and manners. We picked up some footage from out of the region via TikTok concerning this story here, guys, and we want to share some of that with you. Respect and manners to the Rear Admiral, Jamaican, and she has made us proud. We tell her in Guyana, and I feel the love. I'm so proud. Women and young girls everywhere, can take a bow this evening and have somebody to emulate. Take a listen to this.
The incoming Chief of Defense Staff is Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman. Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman is the 12th senior officer to be appointed Chief of Defense Staff of the JDF and the first woman to be appointed to this position in the nearly 60-year history of the Jamaica Defense Force.
Ladies and gentlemen, the incoming Chief of Defense Staff, Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman, has arrived. She will be met by the Acting Inspector General, Commander Judy Ann Neal, and escorted to the saluting dais, where she will receive a sword salute from the parade commander.
Bless up everyone. You know I usually don't talk over footage like this. But me just say, for those who are hearing me, especially young girls, if you have a dream, you can achieve a dream. The new Chief of Defense Staff is a female. First ever in Jamaica. Second time in the history of the world.
Stand up! Stand easy! Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman started her education at Knox Preparatory School before moving on to Knox College in Clarendon. She joined the JDF in August 1992 and completed her professional development training overseas at the Britannia Royal Naval College, HMS Dryad in the United Kingdom, and at the U.S. Naval War College in Rhode Island. With almost 30 years of service in the JDF, Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman will be the only woman in command of a military force in the entire world. She will be the second woman in history to achieve this feat after the Slovenian Major General Alenka Ermink, who was the head of the Slovenian Armed Forces from November 2018 to March 2020.
Fantastic. Respect and manners, Rear Admiral. congratulations, and the entire Caribbean and Commonwealth can take a bow this evening, guys. Moving on the fight card. Moving on. Oh, the National Assembly, people. The National Assembly. What a theater. What a theater, folks. As an update, last evening a no confidence motion and another motion to censure government MPs was tabled. The one against the speaker, the no confidence motion that is, took preeminence. Guyanese everywhere said it's time. The speaker has been biased, he has been partisan, and he has displayed actions unbecoming of a Speaker of the National Assembly, bringing the office of Speaker into disrepute. And so that motion was filed just last evening, submitted just last evening. And we are going to watch to see where that goes. We're going to watch because this speaker, one of the hallmarks of this speaker, what he's going to be remembered for, is not allowing opposition motions ever to see the light of day, or questions posed by opposition members to government members of the National Assembly, installed, albeit in any meaningful way. He finds every maneuver to ensure that a motion brought by the opposition is never debated in the National Assembly. And that's just one of the shortcomings that was highlighted in this motion of no confidence that was filed against the Speaker of the National Assembly. Just one of the shortcomings. But moving on from there, former minister within the Ministry of Infrastructure, former minister within the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Jaipaul Sharma, who's going to be joining us later on in the evening. Jaipaul is of the opinion that the Speaker of the National Assembly, Amanza Nadir, is sitting illegally in the National Assembly, and Jaipaul has some very, very strong, cogent arguments. Some very strong and cogent arguments. And we're going to be talking to him a little later on in our program about this very issue. Who's sharing their live stream for us this evening? So that folks from around the world, just like you, can receive this valid and credible information. Jaipaul is going to be with us a little later on in the program. But moving on, issues of the National Assembly, folks. Just today, during the 35th sitting of the National Assembly, Gail Teixeira, I dare not say honorable, Gail Teixeira tabled a motion that was accepted, that 8 members of parliament, of the parliamentary opposition in particular, should be censured. And so the motion prescribed and supported them being sent to the Committee of Privileges, which disciplines and censures MP. The Speaker agreed. Of course, was a set piece because the parliamentary opposition dared to stand against these jagabats and trench crappos in the interest of the Guyanese people on the 29th day of December, when that notorious Natural Resource Fund bill was passed, in which they are seeking to loot this country of the oil monies for friends and family and their cliques and cabals. The parliamentary opposition, like so many organizations and individuals, spoke out and took action against their heavy-handed nature. And for that, we will gladly pay the price on behalf of the people of this country. And so the motion was carried, of course. And so 8 members of parliament, yours truly inclusive, were sent to the Committee of Privileges. Well, we're going to keep you all informed. You think it finished? It now starting. Folks, it now starting. Take my word for it. This is going to be an action year in the National Assembly. It is going to be an action year in the National Assembly. Take our word for it. Moving on to fight card in the National Assembly to demonstrate again this one-sided, biased, partisan nature of the Speaker. The Honorable Member of Parliament, Jaipaul, submitted a question this morning. And the Speaker could have and should have used his prerogative to allow the question, but in the nature, as the Trinities would say, it is the nature of the PPP and the Speaker Amanza to operate in this manner. And so again, disallowing the question from the business of the Assembly this morning. And what the question had to do with? Some categories of workers, including elected officials, those at the regional level, and others, want to know how come they didn't get the 7% increase, even though the installed regime themselves said that they were entitled to it. That is what members of Parliament do. They listen to the people and then they take their concerns to the National Assembly. That is what Jaipaul, the Honorable Member of Parliament, sought to do this morning. And while there's a motion tabled against the Speaker of the National Assembly for the same actions, he demonstrated the very same actions in the same sitting, the 35th sitting of the National Assembly today. The same actions. By disallowing the question. Nothing from the MPs of the parliamentary opposition gets through in the National Assembly. Why? Oh, these guys are going to want to come and preach to us about one Guyana and inclusivity. But ever so often, just like this morning, the true nature comes shining through. You can't hide who you are, you know. The PPP cannot hide who they are. Leadership don't conceal, it reveals. It don't conceal. Write down that tonight in the ring book, in the scorebook. Leadership does not conceal, it reveals. And so that was one of the things transpiring in the National Assembly today. Blatant biasness, blatant partisanship. But moving on, ladies and gentlemen, while some MPs were being censured and attempts were being made to censure them, this photograph is all over social media showing the PPP MP, Anand Prasad. Anand Prasad, this is the fellow. He's the minister within the Ministry of Local Government, sitting where the Speaker's mace, his authority in the House, supposed to be. He sat down there. He's the mace. Anand is the mace. And you know what? No censure for Anand. Another sterling example. I hope Sarah Lynch watching. Right? I hope Mark Borman watching. I hope the British High Commissioner to Guyana is watching. I hope she's watching this evening. The British High Commissioner to Guyana. I hope the lovely woman is watching this evening and get a sense of how these people transact business in the National Assembly. The Honorable Jane Miller, the British High Commissioner to Guyana. I hope Mark Borman, the Canadian High Commissioner, is watching. I hope Sarah Lynch is not too tired from our taxing meeting trying to understand, hear from them. And they're watching. So here is Anand Prasad. Your Excellency Jane Miller, here is Anand Prasad, who's sharing these things so the international community could see how the Speaker in the Cooperative Oil Producing Republic of Guyana is biased. Anand Prasad, sitting in the space on the spot where the mace is, taking out picture, taking out video, assaulting MPs verbally. Some persons pointed to his pocket there and say he has a gun and all kinds of things, allegedly. And there's no censure for him. There's no reprimand for him. None of that. But 8 members of the parliamentary opposition are sent to the Committee of Privileges. Folks, when you all went to high school, there was a book by John Steinbeck. Was it John? No, John Steinbeck. Let's make sure we have it right. Animal Farm. Who's the author of Animal Farm? I I hope Austin's bookstore still carry Animal Farm. I hope they have that book. Some of y'all we gotta do a little reading for this year, you know. Fantastic book. Fantastic book. Animal Farm. Still boxing my mind here. Fantastic book. And in that book, they say all were created equal. All animals. But some more equal than others. The author coming to me, I know it's not him, it's John Steinbeck. It's not John Steinbeck. The book, the name is right there. I hope some of you readers can call up the name, the author of Animal Farm. I want to give people credible information on this program. This is Animal Farm here. This is George Orwell. Thank you. You see, I got some sharp viewers, you know. I knew it wasn't John Steinbeck. I knew it. But that was the name coming to mind. George Orwell. Sharp ringsiders. This is Animal Farm, where some are created more equal than others. Y'all seeing that? Y'all seeing that, guys? Some are created more equal. This is a member of parliament. He is sitting. I hope some of you sharing the live stream. I hope y'all can smash that emoji button. Right? I was thinking of, I'm happy some folks are now throwing books in the comment section, because when I was thinking about John Steinbeck, I was thinking of that very short novel we did in high school called The Pearl. That was the one I was thinking about. Some folks are quoting of men and mice. I'm happy we got some readers here. Folks, we got to stay sharp, you know. All were created equal in this Animal Farm, Guyana, where they preach every day one Guyana, but it's unequal treatment. Some created more equal than others, Dolores Denny, and Aegis Williams and Brenda Taharali. This is Animal Farm involved. Who can share the live stream so that folks get the valid and credible information? Things tight in this country. Things tight. You want to know how tight? Folks, Wednesday, they're reading the budget of burdens and sorrows. Wednesday, the last budget, y'all remember the theme? A pathway to economic resilience. A pathway to economic dynamism and resilience. How they feeling? How they working out for y'all, Bella and Mona? How they working out for we, Charlotte Barnes? Joshua Joseph, how they working out for we, economic dynamism and resilience, the pathway? We on the pathway still? Oh, but things tight. And every forecaster is telling us they're only going to get worse in 2022. But we can be here in the struggle together, folks. In it together. That is why we took certain action on the 29th of December for you guys. That can get us now sent in the Privileges Committee. You know why? Because we in this struggle together. We in it together. Things tight. Look how tight. Oh, folks, it's real tight, you know. It's real tight. You want to know how tight? Look how tight. Oh, poor man. Huh? Can't even afford a little lorry, a little canter to help you move out. That's because the cost of living in this country moving so sharp. The place you could have rent last year, you can't rent now. Y'all know some of them rent out there like? Huh? Y'all know some of them rent out there like Clive Jackson and Marlon Sears, Adele Semple, Erica Hooper. Y'all know some of them rent like out there? It's tight. So we saw this guy here struggling, going through. My God. And this thing, you can only get more tight. It can get him better, it get him more tight. Folks, we're moving on quickly so that we can have some of our guests who are already piling up in the green room, watching us very strong, putting on the makeup and so on, sipping some coffee while they could sip it. Things tight. You know? Things are tight, folks. Things, they're a little tight, they're plenty tight. Moving along to show you. Ghana's not a real place. Y'all ever thought it's a real place? Huh? It's tight here. Real tight. It's not a real place. Today, believe it or not, it is International Education Day. And this was some of the sites from St. George's Secondary School. We don't know what they got against St. George's. But the garbage they don't pick up regular. International Education Day. International. Who's sharing the live stream? You see like a one on TV and radio and social media and say, oh, they care about the children. They're for education and so on. But this is really them. The real people. Somebody ought to share the live stream. Somebody ought to share it. This is them. All 5,000 y'all watching me. Don't respect it. Engage the program. Share the live stream. Those of you join on Christopher Jones' page, don't put you to shame tonight. He is with us. Folks, I'm hastening. I mightn't cover everything. It's a packed program today. I mightn't cover it, but let me hasten on. Y'all think it's easy? Folks, we telling y'all, things tight. It tight. It ain't a little tight. It plenty tight. You understand me? It tight. Garbage and even getting pick up. From the school, International Education Day. You understand me? And now we pick up this other story. How things tight. Right? The self-care. People got for themselves now. We recommend it. This young lady here. We can surprise some of you with our approach on this one. This young lady here. We are being told. Fantastic young woman. Serafina Thompson. Somewhere in Barbies. Listen to me. Let me tell you all something. Christopher Jones know about this. Amanza know about this. Jaipaul, I think, know about this. I met a girl from Barbies. She changed my life, you know. A girl from Barbies would change your life. Right? So Guyanese taking this, fake it until you make it very seriously. I think this young lady was involved in some self-care. Right? The Bible says speaking those things that are not as though they were. So this young lady went on a whole photo shoot saying that she graduated from some place. She's doing, you know, people do the photo shoot on the graduation. Serafina Thompson, that's the name we are given. I say more power to you. Serafina, more power to you. So Serafina went on this whole photo shoot. And then, you know, Guyanese, look, let me tell you something. Christopher Jones, Amanza, Jaipaul, when you take out a picture, people checking everything in this picture. The Guyanese people fast, bad. They fast everything they're looking for in this picture. So they zoom in the girl's certificate. They want to see if it's Ifla Chiwento is what. They zoom in on the certificate. And this thing started a big story. You know, Parliament was about to cancel today. Just over this situation was an international incident. They fast. They zoom in on the girl's certificate. And this is what the certificate says. Certificate of Science. That looks good. But then it's the fine print. It's like this government. You always got to watch the fine print. It says, we give this certificate because Serafina Thompson has completed her science course, CORUSE, short time. We give certificate because Serafina Thompson has completed her science course, short time. That's what the thing said. Listen to me. Y'all love Serafina. Things tight in this country. People got to do what they got to do. And if Serafina want to get a photo shoot with a fake certificate to empower herself, more power to you, Serafina. More power to you, Serafina. More power to you. Moving on, quickly in the fight card. Quickly, Hamper Nation. So them boys went on the East Bank. Friendship. And then people from Friendship and like this hamper. They are not liking this hamper one bit, people. What the hamper? They like it. They said a set of old clothes, half pint rice, half pint split peas. They ain't like this hamper at all. Right? The Friendship people complain to us. They said, no. Bring proper hamper here. Things tight. We are mine. We got to get by, but bring proper hamper in Friendship. Moving on, money got for make Amanza. Chris, Jaipaul, y'all know that? Money got for make in this country. Serafina know that. Serafina in a hustle with a certificate. She learned from Irfan. This country's a hustle. Money got for make. If you can't make it in your first degree, you got to fake it. I went to UGI pass. Did communication, red law. Irfan went to UG, drop out in second year. Moving on, money got for make. So we told you of this story here. Where the Senegalese captured this boat and intercepted this boat with 3 containers of guns coming. The people know, but they're talking. They know. It's something happening here with ships. Everybody get a ship. Maybe Zopra. You. Everybody get a ship. Everybody get a ship. Manza get a ship. Chris get a ship. Jaipaul get a ship. Everybody got a ship. So the Senegalese capture on the ship because they want them in the action too. Money got for make. So we there today, drinking we water, minding we own business. Boom, we see in Iran news, another ship. What is ship? What is ship? What is ship? Another ship. Now in the South China Sea. The people said they captured the ship, intercepted the ship, buying crude oil. As you know, in Iran, the oil is embargoed. The US got sanctioned on the oil. They can't send oil on the international market. A Guyanese ship. Folks, listen to me. I heard this thing when I growing up. Jaipaul know this. Right? Jaipaul beg, but he ain't stupid. Presto, got the age. Man's got shades too. I know this. You pelt a handful of let's say, split peas. Any part of the world, you can knock a Guyanese. Any part of the world. How I wouldn't have never thought there's a Guyanese right now in the South China Sea. Thieving oil from Iran. We get a reputation, you know. Hear from them sending these people all over the place. All over the place. They're in the South China Sea. Who knew if you throw some split peas in the South China Sea, you can knock a Guyanese. A Guyanese ship carrying the Guyanese flag in the South China Sea. Thieving fuel from an Iranian ship. Y'all think we down here? Y'all think we down here in this country? Folks, it's pace and power. In 2022, moving on quickly, is a COVID surge. Oh God, more death today. You know we had a whole sitting of the National Assembly. I ain't hear COVID mentioned once from the government. Ask them MPs when they come. I ain't hear it mentioned once. Moving on. Says 173 new cases, 4 new deaths. Our thoughts and prayers go to those people. This is what it is. A whole sitting in the National Assembly in a COVID surge. And I ain't hear the Minister of Health talk about COVID once. I ain't hear the Speaker mention COVID once. Folks, y'all think the easy here? Y'all think the easy? You know what they come to talk about? Heart transplant. They want to sell the organs out now. Something about Amanza Heart and Chris Hart looking nice. The eye of Chris lungs. They're trying to sell me out the parts. They're trying to sell you out. It's trying to get rid of we. Jaipaul is too much trouble for them now. So it's getting rid of we in parts. They can't get rid of we one time. So they can harvest me now. Health matters. Folks, this is the last issue I'm dealing with. Bear with me here. This issue here, health matters in this country. Folks, if you watch yourself in this country, they gone with you, you know. They gone with your organ, they gone with your one hand, they gone with your one ears. They will teach me whole laugh. Right? That some of you are fond of. If you stand up one place in this country too long, they're gone with you. Me talk about gone with you like Papa Jagabat gone. Like if a heavy wind come, it would lift you off your foot. Not the kind of gone. Them boys that in the South China Sea, they would gone with you. They would gone with you. They're serious. So this story here, folks, let me run through it quick. And then I'm going to have my guess. This story here, hey, when you think things can't get bad in this country, every time I say things can't get bad in this country, it goes and get bad. It goes and get worse for us. I got to watch my comparatives and superlatives this evening. Let me run through this quick. This lady tells this story on social media. She said, I went to a certain hospital, private hospital, in good condition to deliver my baby. I had an emergency C-section on the 15th of September 2021. During the surgery, the doctors gave me 3 injections to my left side of my lower back. The last injection that the doctors administered to my back, I screamed in pain because the injection shook and shocked my body from head to toe. That's what she said. From head to toe, it shocked me. After the surgery, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl and was taken back to the female ward where I spent the night with my baby. 16th of July 2021, I was told by the doctors to get up and walk about. After many attempts, I was not able to get up from my bed because of my left side hip go down to my toe was paining and I wasn't able to move. With the help of doctors, I sat up in the bed and got up to walk and fell to the ground. It was this moment I realized I could not walk. Folks, brace yourself. 17th of August, I was not showing any improvement and was taken by doctors to do an MRI scan. After the MRI scan, I was told that the result of the scan was normal and was discharged. After I was discharged, I was not able to walk without the help of my family members. To go to the washroom and shower, I always had to get help. It was so painful. In the night, seeing my baby cry and not able to move about to breastfeed her. 2 weeks passed. No one called me from the hospital to check on my health. So I returned to the hospital for an explanation to find out why I was not walking properly. I met with the doctor that did the surgery, and he told me he doesn't have an explanation why I'm not walking properly. Imagine paying my money and putting my life in these doctors' hands, and they're telling me they don't have an explanation. I was so furious and in pain. Is this the kind of service hospitals provide to the public? They then told me to meet with their bone specialist, which I had to pay to see. Their fault, and still I had to pay to see their bone specialist, who advised me to rest for 4 weeks. After resting for 4 weeks, no one called me from the hospital to find out how I was doing, to find out how I was doing. And I was not seeing any improvement in my walking. So I called the hospital, and the receptionist answered. So I asked her why no one didn't call me to check up on me. And she told me if no one didn't call, I had to call the hospital. Is this the kind of service the hospital provides? I was so shocked, she said. Wrapping up, I returned back to the hospital where I met one Dr. M. Right? The doctor called me into the office and asked me what was the problem. After explaining to her I was not able to walk properly after my surgery, she gave me a piece of paper and she told me to go outside and write my problem. After writing my problem, I returned the paper back to Dr. M. I was told by the doctor when she called me back, right? 2 days passed by and I did not receive a call. And so I called to find out what was going on. I spoke again to the receptionist, who told me to return back to the hospital to meet with the doctor. After arriving at the hospital, I met with the doctor, and she told me that the hospital was not responsible for my condition. So I told her I will post my story on Facebook, and her response, the doctor's response rather, to me was that I could be sued for defamation. I am not seeing any improvement with my health. Any improvement with my left foot. I cannot walk upstairs, can't walk far distances. I can't even walk my baby out on the road for fear that I will drop down, because I just fall down when walking. Tomorrow, the 15th of January, 2022, is 4 months since I did my surgery, and I'm not seeing any improvement. No one from the hospital has called. I don't know if I will ever walk normal again, so I'm holding the hospital responsible for my condition. Signed, Sanita Henry Chandrijit. Chandridat. Sanita Henry Chandridat. Y'all think y'all get things rough? We are there? Without any further ado, I want to welcome all my guests to the program this evening. All of them. The opposition chief whip, the parliamentary opposition chief whip, the one and only Mr. Jaipaul Sharma, and I have the lady alone with us this evening, Her Excellency Amanza Walton-Desir. Folks, welcome to the ring. Welcome, one and all. What a team this evening. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're great.
Fantastic. So let us take it from Jaipaul. Because Jaipaul said the speaker sitting in the National Assembly illegally. And I think Jaipaul Sharma's reasoning is very appealing. As you guys know, Jaipaul Sharma is the former minister within the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Infrastructure and Finance as well. Jaipaul, talk to us about this illegality of the sitting of the speaker, the seat of the speaker.
Okay, thank you, Sherrod and colleagues. I'm happy to be here. It's my first on your program in the ring. I'm playing with the big guys now. So,
you want to bamba?
So
you want to chill with the big boys?
Yes. Yes.
Talk to us, Sharon.
So, look, we discussed this below the belt in your podcast, and I did stipulated the violation of a very important article, and that is Article 56.2 of the Constitution. And that article would basically state how the Speaker of the National Assembly should be elected. If he or she is a member of the National Assembly, or if that person of Speaker will be a non-elected member of the Assembly. Now, I'm not a member of the Assembly presently. You guys are. So you would know that the Speaker, of course, is a non-elected member. He doesn't vote. He doesn't have a voting rights. He has to be non-elected. And basically, if you're a non-elected member, the the government of the day that is selecting such a person to be a non-elected member of the assembly should be selecting a person outside of their list. I said in your program, Mr. Mansour Nadir is listed at 63 in the official Gazette. The Gazette was dated the 18th of January 2020. That is when they would have presented the list to GCOM, and after GCOM did the checks, the list would be, that is the list of candidates for the top up, would have be put in the official gazette. Now, definitely here, Mr. Mansour Nadir is listed at number 63 and the list of the top up list of members of the PPPC. Therefore, he cannot be a non-elected member because everyone on that list, every single party that contested have a list. It's a list system. And every single one, although all of us on the list don't make it to the parliament, it was so structured that everyone on that list, if it's a geographical list, if it's a top-up list, is deemed to be elected. So if someone should die or resign at any one time, they could go to that list, the party that is, could go to that list, speak with GCOM, that is the representative of the list, will speak to GCOM, inform GCOM that they want to now extract the next name for replacement in the National Assembly. So everyone in the list is deemed to be elected. So definitely, Sherrod and guests and viewers, this Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, is not properly placed in the National Assembly. People say I said he's squatting, but I know he's illegal. And
Yep.
I know to challenge the National Assembly as a motion or in the High Courts.
Yep. Jaipaul, stay with us and weigh in on some of these other issues. So this speaker, who Jaipaul is saying is illegal in the National Assembly, this same speaker here passed a motion or allowed a motion to be passed when a lot of MPs were making a lot of noise. The PPP them in the Assembly on the 29th day of December last year, right? Making a lot of noise, verbally assaulting folks, among other things. One of them went high up on the stand where the mace is sitting down. We showed it on this program. The speaker see all, he didn't see all of that. While the House was raucous, a whole bill as important as the natural resource bill was passed. The man didn't see none of that, He didn't see none of that. He saw 8 MPs today, which, with the help of Gail Teixeira, was sent to the Privileges Committee. Chris, talk to us about that and the no confidence motion against the speaker.
Hello.
Go ahead, Chris.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Sherrod. Good evening, Jaipaul, Amanza, and your viewers. As you rightfully put, both motions were submitted to the National Assembly, and it's noteworthy to mention because the propaganda machinery of the PPP is out there. Thank goodness that such credible news agencies such as the Starbrook News, the Village Voice, and of course Kaicher News and Them Wave happened to be in and around the Parliament, and of course the information was provided to them. Both motions were submitted last evening at about 7:58. None of the motions had any letterhead attached to them. Subsequently, there was an update to one of the motion. The clerk of the National Assembly made contact with me this morning and indicated that I needed to make some further amendments. Those amendments were made to one of the motion and it was submitted. So both motions that were submitted to the clerk of the assembly and subsequently to the speaker, none of which had a letterhead attached to them. The Speaker of the National Assembly, essentially for me and for us, he has confirmed as to what we said in the motion of no confidence in the Speaker, that he's biased, that he's one-sided, and so forth. The fact of the matter that he would allow a motion from the People's Progressive Party Civic to sanction members to take them to the Privileges Committee on infractions allegedly made on the 29th of December. And here it is, the opposition happened submitted a motion on infractions that occurred on the said night to sanction members of the PPP and take them to the Privileges Committee. Here it is that the Speaker, after consultation with himself, decided that the PPP's motion to send members to the Privileges Committee will go forward, and the opposition motion to send members of the PPP to the Privileges Committee will be stalled. And this is systematic. It is a pattern that has emerged from since month one, when Amanza Nadir was appointed Speaker. We've had several motions that were submitted to the House that never saw the light of day. For example, there's still two motions having been submitted by the opposition of no confidence in Robeson Ben, of no confidence in Frank Anthony. And to date, as we speak, those motions have not seen the light of day. There was the motion submitted by David Patterson on the oil and gas. We were subsequently told by the Speaker that the matter is sub judice, even though former Speaker of the National Assembly, Raphael Trotman, had indicated that it does not. It does not, and the motion could be debated upon. Amanza Nadir's side differently, that motion has not seen the light of day. You've had another motion by David Patterson submitted on the 27th of October 2021, and it was only after public pressure coming to bear from several fronts, including the PNCR leader, when he spoke about the biasness of the Speaker, and suddenly that motion made it to the floor. You had petitions that were submitted by the opposition, both of which has not seen the light of day. You've had bills, you've had other motions that were submitted, and the Speaker just ruled them out of order. And this is the pattern of the Speaker. The Speaker of the Assembly of any parliament across the world is an impartial person, and he has to operate in such a manner. But where it is, as it relates to Amanza Nadir, he considers himself a gatekeeper for the People's Progressive Party Civic. And that lends to the point made by Jaipaul Sharma. The fact of the matter that the Speaker is on the PPP's list of candidates, and therefore he operates as such and not impartial. So what he has done this afternoon is not only not allow the opposition motion from taking the members to the Privileges Committee, but he has confirmed the opposition's second motion, which speaks about no confidence in the Speaker because of his biased approach. So he has done us justice, you know?
Yep, very much so. Jaipaul, what are your thoughts? Former member of parliament hearing this, and I'm going to dragging Amanza just now with the ship. We want to happen with the ship. Jaipaul, what are your thoughts?
Well, Sharad, what else they could expect from the Speaker Amanza Nadir? He's doing what he does best, and that is obstruction. And so, you know, I don't know. Basically, you guys are fairly new in the National Assembly, but going back to I think maybe the 9th Parliament, Mansour Nadir would have said, maybe it's the 8th or 9th, I can't recall, but he would have said in a debate publicly. He held up, of course, a note, and it had then President Jaglio, which was when he was finance minister's signature. And he said, whose signature is on this bill? He said, this is your answer. You in the opposition can have your say, but we in the government can have our way. And this was something that always remained in my mind with the PPP. When they're in government, this is how they operate. The opposition could tack cheese, to chalk, whatever. It doesn't concern them. It doesn't matter how relevant or important it is to the people and the nation of this country. The people will never allow the opposition to have their way in terms of put forward a proposal that is good for this country. Like, of course, the objection to the new Natural Resource Fund Act, which you know is I pass. You know the reason why they want to push it. You know why they want to push it? Because you know, the 2020 budget, the 2021 budget had large deficit. It left them in a hole, a big black dark hole. And basically, this new act have an exemption in it. Although the act would have said something to the effect that when you're going to draw down, you only could draw down what was put in the account. And the previous year, for this first drawdown, they're going to draw every single cent out. So there's 607 million US. which is about 121 billion Guyana dollars. And all of that will be drawn on basically to clear the deficit and to finance the mega projects in this 2022 budget. The budget will be basically an infrastructure budget, and this is of course money making for the PPP. When you hear contracts, like huge contracts, is money making. While things tight with ordinary people. So this is what I'm saying that would happen, and I'm saying we couldn't expect anything better or worse from a speaker of the ilk of Mansour Nadir.
Yep, yep. And I'm happy that you mentioned money making because that provides a perfect segue to Amanza. Because here we got this ship in the South China Sea that is taking crude oil from an Iranian vessel, which it should not be based on the US embargo on selling crude oil from Iran on the world market and all of that, with the Guyanese flag. And man said just last week, you were asking this administration, this installed regime, to provide a list of ships that they have registered, because who knows what other ships are out there flying with flag and doing a lot of illegal things on the international seas. And lo and behold, boom, Monday happened. Talk to us about that.
Well, Sharon, it is exactly as you say. We asked because we knew the dangers of having the type of arrangement that this PPPC administration entered into with organizations like IMSAG. Ships are registered flying the Guyanese flag and are out there engaging in all kinds of nefarious activities and just reducing Guyana's standing on the international um, arena in terms of our good standing. So it is a recipe for disaster. And I have written to the Minister of Foreign Affairs asking for a list of the names of vessels that are registered by this organization. Of course, the registration will provide the vessel number, their IMO number. We want to know who the owners are because this is putting Guyana down in infamy, and it has to stop. From the largest cocaine bust in the history of the world, now to our ships engaging in all manner and sort of nefarious activities. The PPP continues to demonstrate that they really don't care about Guyana and her reputation internationally. They continue to demonstrate they do not have the ability to honor our international obligations, or those treaties that we signed are often disregarded at the expense or defeat of political expediency. Sharon, it is a completely ridiculous situation. And I know that some of the PPP propagandists were saying, oh, this was an arrangement entered into by the David Granger-led administration. So we would have presented the evidence to show, no, you fired the former Director General of Marin and the one that you brought in signed this MOU with this dubious organization.
Yeah,
Now you're
yeah,
saying to us the ship registration was up December
yeah.
10th, when the law provides for temporary registration so that ships are not sailing the high seas stateless. So look, the PPPC continues to demonstrate to Guyanese who they are. And like I said on your program the other night, it is now up to the Guyanese people to decide what they are going to do about them. You raised an issue here with Jaipaul, who always has a very incisive way of examining issues about the speaker and the house and the PPPC passing laws. We just had an incident, well, not an incident, but a situation here where the PPPC administration attempted to, or they are attempting to amend the Powers of Attorney Act and the Deeds Registry Act. And one of the things that they said was that you now needed two forms of photo ID in order to be able to give a power of attorney and to receive a power of attorney. We pointed out in the House that this 2ID requirement is very onerous. Because, for example, our brothers and sisters in the hinterland, most of them have an ID card. There are people out here on the coast who only have one form of ID. So my 70-year-old aunt who doesn't drive, who don't travel, but wants to give me a power of attorney so that she don't have to go join lines and battle people with COVID and all of that. She now is forced to go and
Yeah.
apply for a passport, to go and apply for an ID card, just to be able to give me a power of attorney. It is ludicrous. What is more ludicrous is that Priya Manikchan and Anil Nandlal stood up there and pontificated and lectured to us about the propriety of this and preventing fraud. But I remind that this goes exactly contrary to the registration of births and deaths amendments that they passed last year, Sherrod, because you all will recall that we warned them about the lax requirements for a person to obtain a Guyanese birth certificate. So I pointed out to Anil in the house just now that you clearly are not taking a holistic look at the laws. Because by saying that somebody who doesn't have a birth certificate can get a declaration from a person of good standing to say that, yes, this is Sherrod, he was born here, Sherrod could take that, go get a birth certificate. With that birth certificate, Sherrod could go get a passport, he could go get a driver's license, he could go get an ID card
Yeah. Yeah.
and commit the fraud legitimately that they're trying to prevent. And you could see that he was like, we clearly didn't think this through. But of course,
Usual.
PPP being who they are will not admit that. We asked them to look, amend this thing on the floor to one form of ID. Because you have such lax requirements for somebody to become a citizen of Guyana, to become entitled to all the benefits, rights, and privileges attaching to Guyanese citizenship. But you need all of these requirements for a old lady to go give a power of attorney to somebody. So they do not consider the entirety of the matter. They move on political expediency. I am yet to identify the expediency involved in creating this arrangement with IMSAG that has us now with this situation where ships are on the high seas, flying these flags, and doing all manner and sorts of things. And all we are being recognized for in the international arena is not the brilliance of our people or for forward thinking policies, it's for criminal activities. It's ridiculous.
Yep, and you know some folks were joining, and let me just tell you folks who are watching us by way of full disclosure. Amanza has a master's degree in maritime law, worked in this area. Jaipaul Sharma, by virtue of him having worked at the Ministry of Infrastructure, had some responsibility for MARAD, and then Christopher Jones, like all of the folks here, got the institutional knowledge of the infractions of the PPP. So we big, but we ain't stupid. Now, it begs the question. People have been connecting some dots and saying that this boat with this guns and ammunition was perhaps going to be docked at Leperkan Wharf, Kainek Wharf. Folks called me and said they've been working in maritime and so on. They know the place this boat could have docked. And it's strange that the wharf went up in flames around the same time the boat was being intercepted. That's one. And number two, the other question that they say, that they ask, is how many boats with ammunition did come that weren't intercepted? Now, this is a fuel boat getting illegal Iranian crude oil in the South China Sea. How many boats like that did come to the shores over the last year that we know about? That's the question. I'll take Jaipaul and then Chris, and I'll give the last word to Amanza.
Sherrod, I believe you hit the nail on the head for me. I don't want to be sounding like a person filled with conspiracy, but that is what basically it is. We can't get away from it. When the minister that is now responsible for MARAD could stand up and gloat about the number of vessels arriving in the country under the PPPC administration, what he did not indicate is how these vessels are coming here. And Then the statement from Marad, whoever make the statement, if it was the new director general or just someone in Marad or the minister office, but made such a statement that, you know what, we don't know if this vessel was registered because it wasn't registered by us. Maybe it was registered by some um, other company that they set up, but they serve ties with the company. Guess what? Remember, I would reveal an extract of that contract. And that contract say after it is signed, if you want to terminate that agreement, you have to give 12 months notice. So there's a lot of questions.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the wharf itself going up in flames, or portion of the wharf going up in flames, we don't know. We need an audit to be done to determine how many vessels was registered by this international body. Because what this new director general or Marad is saying is that, and I think since Manza was there, she wasn't there under my term of office with responsibility, but she was there. She could probably assist me in answering some questions. And the question that I have in my mind is that this statement that was put out by Marad recently after the revelation of the 3 containers of ammunition and guns is that this body that they would have set up and signed an agreement with was responsible for registering international owned vessel, and Marad was now responsible to only register local owned vessels. So when Marad now was making this pronouncement that they don't know about it, of course they wouldn't know about it because in this agreement there was Marad Guyana only supposed to be registering local owned vessels. And so we need to know, we need to have an audit. We need to have international assistance, maybe from Scotland Yard
Yep.
or even a wider body that have those ability to basically to inspect the records of this organization to find out how many vessels they would have registered internationally that fly in
Yep.
our flag, and how many of those vessels came to Guyana already. Because you remember when the DPP went up in flames
The
not
DPP's
so long
office. Yep.
ago, the Fire
Yep.
Nation,
Yep.
that you will see.
Fines and the PPP. Chris, jump in.
Um, Thank you, Sherrod. So, right off the bat, when you read in the newspapers about ships being intercepted with drugs, with guns, illegal crude oil from Iran, and so forth, I want to take your viewers and your listeners back to pre 2015 under the People's Progressive Party Civic. Is that during that time, Guyana was named a transshipment point for illegal drugs, where drug traffickers have always been emboldened under the People's Progressive Party civic administration to ply their trade. Here it is again that the PPP is back in office. And literally, I think it was subject to correction 2 months after you had that major drug bust, the largest in the history of the country at the time. Then you had another one after that. Now you have these busts with guns and ammunition, and now you have the fuel smugglers. Again, is that the People's Progressive Party civic is so ingrained in criminal activities and corruption that criminals that ply their trade, whether it's drugs and arm and ammunition and so forth, feels comfortable
Yep. Yep.
operating
Yep.
via Port Guyana to ply their trade with drugs and ammunition and so forth. And this, you want to drive home the point to the international community, which the international community is aware of this, because many of the US State Department's reports during the People's Progressive Party Civic's 23 years in office, they made those pronouncements that Guyana is indeed a transshipment point for illicit
Yep.
drugs. And
Yep.
here it is
Yep.
again that the People's Progressive Party Civic is in office. Literally 2 months after being installed, you had the largest drug bust in that country's history, and it continues every single day. We're just what, 18, 19 months in office, the People's Progressive Party Civic, and you have all of these coming back. This is the PPP. They are ingrained in criminal activity, and they support these illicit trade.
That's who they is. That's who they be. Jaipaul, I'm going to give you an opportunity to finish up, wrap up on your thought there, and then Amanza is going to have the final word.
Yes, thank you. I was Bangstaff and I'm back. And so basically, what I'm saying, what transpired there in the DPP office at that fire was basically person was just, I don't know if there were police, if there were official, but people was fetching files out of the DPP office. It wasn't going in a tractor, in a container, in a bus. People were just walking and collecting their own files and walking out back. So I could remember seeing a police officer accosted a young man and say, hey, what you doing with this file? Carrying him back, and then the man walking out with this file. This file wasn't put with the others. This person came for their file. And so when you have a fire and the
this is Guyana.
Just imagine, we don't know in that fire when they will be moving out containers or whatever, barrels or whatever. Nobody dare to watch them and say they're moving it for safety, security, for storage.
Yeah.
They're just moving it out.
Yep.
So we need to know what came in this country, what vessels arrive in this country under this registration of this international situation where they could register vessels outside the MARAD knowledge, because MARAD wasn't aware that that vessel was registered.
You know, it's a beautiful point that is raised by Jaipaul, because you know this is the kind of thing we are seeing widespread in this country. Nobody never knows. The Minister of Health always suspect. That fire there at the DPP's office, the Director of Public Prosecutions, and the Office of Professional Responsibility of the Police Force, that fire, Robeson Ben came out and said it's overseas people. It's them APNU AFC people from overseas. There is still a police report pending on the fire that had to be verified and re-verified and re-verified. You understand me? Still, I was charged for something I said here allegedly. And they know that they are trench crappers and jagabats. They know that. But I was done charged, you know. We still waiting for the report. The people who shipped the 2 tons of coke to Belgium, we still waiting for know who is the big fishes. All we getting is the cockabelly. We ain't getting the snapper. We ain't getting the sharks. We ain't getting the catfish. All we getting is the cockabelly. The people who shipped the 15, the 13 pounds, the 1,300 pounds of coke to the Netherlands, we know who is them. It's just the cockabellies all the time. Here we are. Very important point, Jaipaul. Amanza.
You hearing me, Sharon?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So the point and the query that Jaipaul makes is very important. What happens is that it's possible under maritime arrangements to have certain functions such as ship registration, because it's a technical function, delegated to an organization with that type of expertise. So it is not unusual. What has to happen though is that you have to make sure that once you do that, you have the requisite checks and balances in place. What the PPPC has indicated is that they clearly did not have those checks and balances in place, because you ought to know as a nation how many ships are out there flying your flag, because of the significant legal responsibility that comes with a ship flying your flag. For all intents and purposes, a vessel flying your flag is considered your territory.
Yep.
Just like an aircraft, when it's registered, it carries a country registration because certain rules, regulations, and certain laws apply. So for Mara to issue that statement, well, I called them out in it because I was appalled. I was simply appalled. And we are going to be calling on the international community to do a thorough investigation of this. This affects our ranking with international organizations such as the IMO. It affects our ranking and our relations with, in terms of nations that are hospitable to nefarious activities and transnational crimes and all of that. It has implications.
Yep.
So for the government to simply brush it aside as if it is not important really does indicate, one, they either do not know, or two, they know and they ain't key. I rather suspect is the second one. They know and they ain't key.
And Amanza, Chris, and Jaipaul, this is the 35th sitting of the National Assembly. And all of this is happening. You got ships being found at sea doing illegal activities. None of this made the sitting. None of this. The Foreign Affairs Minister didn't update the nation. Robeson Ben, the minister, installed minister of Home Affairs, didn't update the nation. None of this made the National Assembly. And I say this without any successful contradiction being feared. That Amanza, Chris, or anybody, MP, could bring a motion tomorrow on these boats at sea with the guns, with the iron and all that, and the speaker will say, it is not urgent. It is not urgent. It won't make the other people.
And it's not a matter of national importance.
Not a matter of national importance.
Modus operandi. So Guyana's reputation internationally can suffer. Look, under the coalition, there can't be any denying of the national pride that was restored to Guyanese. We came off the blacklist for money laundering, both the European and the Commonwealth blacklist. We had our highest score on the transparency index. We achieved tier 1 status in terms of trafficking in person. You had a consistent effort to make sure that Guyana could have a pride of place on the international community. People were proud to be Guyanese. For decades, the DA has been struggling to come here to Guyana. Under the coalition, the DA was able to set up an office here.
Yep.
But people come back in government, largest drug bust in the history of the world.
Yep. Just like that.
It's in the history of the world.
Just like that.
That is tied to Guyana's name. Meanwhile, you have the PPP that continue to put out propaganda dealing with elections and who rig, etc. And they believe that by distracting people with the mundane issues such as that, I keep saying to them, if you keep saying that the APNU rig and whatever, let the petitions be heard. It will absolve you once and for all.
Yeah.
Like, if you're so sure, why do you not want to be legitimized by 2 petitions being heard in your favor? You are doing everything to prevent it from being heard. So what is happening is that the PPPC government has lost its credibility. What they are thriving on is that we, the people of Guyana, need to wake up. They have shown us who they are.
And we should believe them.
We now have to believe them, and we as citizens need to take the necessary action to rid ourselves of this blight that has been imposed on this nation of Guyana. We're going good. We didn't get everything 100% right, but we were on a far better trajectory, nationally and internationally. That has been interrupted by this cabal, and we, the people of Guyana, have to stand up and we have to show them the door.
Chris and Jaipaul, I'm going to allow you guys to squeeze in a comment since I took Amanza there. Go on, guys. Jaipaul, go right ahead.
I couldn't say it better. I couldn't say it better than Amanza. Amanza said it all. She's on fire. Yeah, I agree with her.
I love that. Chris?
Yeah, but same here, Sharon. I mean, Amanza summed it up correctly in terms of Guyana's ranking during the coalition period, and of course, post-coalition, Guyana has retrogressed back to the period of the PPP's 23 years. And believe you me, we rightfully mentioned that, listen, as it relates to the vessel that was intercepted with the illegal crude from Iran, that is one that was intercepted. We don't know how many others were able to bring their crude, whether it's here or wherever.
How many passed through?
How many passed through? Same thing with the guns that were discovered. Those were the ones that were discovered. What about the others that we did not miss? And again, is to drive the point is that persons who engage in the narcotics trade, the shipment of illegal arms and ammunition, and the list goes on. They find comfort in the People's Progressive Party Civic. And that is why you only find these things emerging almost on a daily or weekly basis with Ghana's name being attached to it. And I take you back again to the period of the 23 years under the PDP. That was the norm. That was the modus operandi.
Yep.
The US
Yep.
State Department, in their report, they articulated it well, in which drugs will leave the shores of Ghana only to be intercepted in foreign territories. And as it relates to persons who have been prosecuted in Ghana, there have been none. Could you imagine? Zero, none. I take you back to Raja Shahid Khan. It was only he was intercepted in Suriname and then
Rendition.
transported exactly to the United States, where he was charged and subsequently placed in the lockups. It was only then is that nothing happened in Guyana, and the PPP never know, not associated, and so on. And essentially, that they signed these cards with these. We've had illegal airstrips, and you want to emphasize on that S discovered in Ghana. You had aircraft that was found in Ghana's territory with drugs inside. Again, drug traffickers and persons who engage in the illegal trade of arms and ammunition finds comfort in the People's Progressive Party civic government. And that is when you see all of this emerging, and it will continue. Even by next week, you will hear of another one.
Yep. Christopher Jones, Jaipaul Sharma, Amanza Walton-Desir, thanks for spending some time with us this evening and making sense of these issues to the Guyanese people at home and abroad and people worldwide. Thanks for joining us. That's our program, folks.
Thank you, Sharon. Yes.
That's our program. I want to thank my guests again this evening, Jaipaul Sharma, Amanza Walton-Desir. And folks, I have you know that Jaipaul Sharma, as we said, was former minister within the Ministry of Infrastructure and also within the Ministry of Finance, folks. Finance. And this is where we are now, tragically. This is where we are. So I want to thank all of my guests, and we're going to hear more from Jaipaul this very week. I told him already we're pressing him because we want him to add some context, want him to give some information on these issues, especially because the budget coming up. He was in the ministry, so he understands this process, and we're going to be tapping him for some guidance as we navigate this week. Folks, thanks for joining us. We couldn't ask for more. Thanks, Jaipaul. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Amanza, for being here with us. Folks, we want to do more of these programs, and we want you guys to come on board and partner with us. But more than that, share the live stream. 4,000 of y'all still watching us, We gone past program time. 4,000 of you still watching. But we're so grateful, guys, because we know there are so many other things out there on social media to grab your attention. But you guys spend this time with us for news, for information. It's a task we take very, very seriously. And we want to thank you guys for being here with us night after night, day after day, week after week, program after program. Whether it's In the Ring, it's our podcast, Below the Belt, it's our entity, Credible Sources, the focal point, which is the website, found at crediblesourcesgy.com, guys. All that we do here and we'll continue to do is to bring you the news, bring you information, and have fantastic folks who can get context to all of this. Partner with us, folks. Help us to do more of this. We tell you guys, January tight, people. Come on board and partner with us. We got the Cash App. It's the $ in the ring 592 at Cash App. The $ in the ring 592. We got PayPal. Our PayPal email address in the ring 592 at gmail.com. In the ring 592 at gmail.com. We got Zelle now. It's a new year. We gone up. We got Zelle, same email as PayPal, in the ring 592 at gmail.com. In the ring 592 gmail.com. We're available via MoneyGram too, via Western Union as well. You want to know how? Folks, you can WhatsApp us at 627-6963, 627-6963. And that number is our MMG number as well, people. Our MMG number, and we're available via MMG too. Come on board. Partner with us, folks. Partner with us and help our programs to go forward. You see, we can talk the things we talk here because we ain't got no advertiser for give vex and take back the ads and take we off the air. It's just us and you And you fund us. And so we can be here and we can talk the things unedited, unscripted, and not worry about advertisers and them kind of problems. Because of you, the people, you ringsiders. We love you guys. Sanitize, social distance, put on your mask, folks. Practice all the COVID-19 protocols that are in place for your health and your safety, that of your friends, family, and loved ones. Share the live stream before you go. Hundreds of you, thousands of you still watching us. Thousands of you still watching us. Folks, share the live stream before you go, and we want to see those emojis as well. Share the live stream. Folks, lots of you, things tight, might be able to contribute like you want to. We know you want to, but you might not be able to right now. Share the live stream for us. Certainly, you can do that. Give us a share. Show us those smash that emoji, like, love, care, whatever the emoji you want to choose. Even if you're angry with me, smash the emoji too. You understand? All are welcome in the ring. We say it all the time. All are welcome. Yes, PPP, yes, TUF, your Jaipaul's party there. Whoever you be. You understand me? Whoever you be, come on board with us. Whoever you be. Right? Come on board with us. We want to hear from you guys. Come on board with us. Whoever you be. Thanks for joining us in the ring. It is so meaningful. I want to get the name of Jaipaul's party, right? A name is in my head, but I ain't want to call it wrong. I don't want to call it wrong. He's the leader and general secretary of the Equal Rights and Justice Party. Jaipaul Sharma, leader and general secretary of the Equal Rights and Justice Party. If you're Equal Rights and Justice, you're welcome in the ring. Clearly, we demonstrated that with Sharma. You are Schumann's party. Can't remember the name either now. LBJ, I think it is. Liberty and Justice. Whoever you be, you're welcome in the ring. You're Anug, and you're United Guyana. You're welcome here too. PNC, APNU, a partnership for national unity. Your Alliance for Change. Whoever you are, you're welcome here in the ring. All are welcome, guys. That's our time this evening. That's our program. Wherever you go, to the other shows, to your workplace, you're heading home, stay safe, guys. Stay safe. Remember to share the live stream and smash that emoji button as well. Thank you for joining us. That's our program. Stay safe. Stay safe. Drink your water and mind your own business. Stay safe. Stay safe. More power. More power. Let me say that quickly. More power to that young lady with the certificate. More power to her. You do what you got to do, girl. Do what you got to do. Serafina Thompson, more power to you. More power to you, Serafina. And that young lady there, Sunita Henry Chandridat. Sunita Henry Chandridat. We're going to pray for you. We're going to pray for you. Folks, remember your prayers. Those of you who believe in the Almighty, remember Sunita Henry Chandridat. That's a young woman with the hospital story. Remember our thoughts and prayers are with her. That's our program, guys. Stay safe. Stay safe.